Humans are unique in a variety of ways, whether it be physical, emotional, behavioral, psychological, and cultural. But oftentimes, these differences only provide a route to all sorts of oppressive and unethical treatment that therefore kills our unity, peace, and equality. Social conditions up to this day that disrupt our society continue to exist and foster. As time goes by, people, instead of learning how to embrace our differences and have mutual understanding, only intensify the matter, which therefore gives us an even vague view of a better world and a better future.
As an open-minded member of the society, what do you think are the primary reasons for this issue to persist? And as a student, what solutions do you have in mind or actions you think we can all work together to suppress this matter and safeguard a better future where there will be acceptance of differences, mutual understanding, and equal distribution of social advantages? Now let's go and ask the opinions of different people here in our school.
Magandang araw po. Ako po si Renji Kim L. Labare, 18 years old mula sa strand ng youths.
Instead of showing mercy, many people make fun of persons with disabilities. What is your opinion regarding this issue and what can you suggest as a solution to address this matter?
Regarding on that issue, I beg to disagree because ang mga PWDs natin na hindi dapat tinatawanan, bagkus dapat natin silang mas lalong i-lift up para mas mabuo yung kanilang confidence. And siguro kaya tinatawanan ng mga ganong kapansanan dahil hindi sila aware. Ang mga tao ay medyo ignorant pagdating sa mga ganong parte ng issue. Kaya kailangan ng information dissemination regarding on that issue para pag nakakita sila ng ganon, para may isip nila, hindi nila dapat ito tawanan, bagkus parang tulungan or bigyan pa ng dahilan para mas lalo pang maboost ang kanilang confidence.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako si Cassandra Aquino and I am 19 years old.
Instead of showing mercy, many people make fun of persons with disabilities. What is your opinion regarding this issue and what can you suggest as a solution to address this matter?
Sa panahon kasi ngayon, maraming tao ang hindi mulat sa kaalaman base sa kung ano yung nakikita nila sa mga taong may disabilities. Like, kapag nakakita sila ng delay, pipe, or bulag, kadalasan nasanay kasi tayo sa sa pamumuhay natin na yung ibang mga tao na mas nakakatanda sa atin, tinatawanan din yung mga ganung bagay. So, same lang din sa atin, kaya ganun yung ginagawa natin. Tapos, para sa akin, ang pinakamagandang solusyon din is, siguro para sa akin na isang kabataan, magiging boses ako ng bawat bata na maging mulat sa kaalaman na ang bawat tao naman is pantay-pantay, may kapansanan ka man o wala, or mulat ka man, pepe, na kailangan nating mahalin yung kapwa natin base sa kung paano natin minamahal yung sarili natin. So, yun.
Nowadays, some people believe that psychological problems have not impacted the mental health of others. Several people make fun of others with disabilities. They were not there to offer support, but rather to mock them without mercy or respect. As defined by the Republic Act 7277 or the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons, approximately 1.44 million people with disabilities, or the PWDs, reside on the margins of our country's cultural, economic, and political landscapes. Imagine that 1.44 million persons are suffering or having a hard time because of the public's ignorance. In many cases, poverty in the Philippines is related to disability. As stated of the two of our interviewees, people are unaware and not that fully knowledgeable enough about this kind of issue. They also stated that people are used to living their lifestyles and that they see and learn from other people, which when we see limp, mute, or blind people, we are used to doing the things we see from others. As a member of our society, a child of our God, and a living person, we should imprint in our minds that every human being is equal. Whether you have disability or not, whether you are blind or mute, We must love and respect each other. Furthermore, as mentioned by our interviewees, we should be the voice of our youth in disseminating information that people with disabilities should be treated equally. And as linked in our lesson about intersubjectivity is that since we interact with other people as well as we use to communicate and make relationships with others, we must take full responsibility of standing as a living person, and that is to be kind to others and act as a better individuals.
My name is Manuela B. Norben. I am 17 years old.
Regarding rape issue, women are blamed because of the type of clothes they wear. What is your opinion about this issue and what solutions do you have in mind to address this matter?
So regarding rape issue, I have always known and I have always thought to myself that the statement rape is enough justification on how things stand out. However, since super dami ko narinig din na mga statements na biniblame yung victims, all that I can say is that victim blaming is unjustifiable. Kasi to think na yung statistics or based on facts talaga or being objective, super lawak ng ranges ng victims ng rape. So it ranges from a literal infant hanggang elderly and even dead people, tapos even persons with disabilities, even men. And sometimes is yung mga karamihan pa nga is family members or relatives and intimate partner. So with that, we can conclude na parang ang unfair naman kapag sinabi natin na kaya sila ni-rape is because of the clothes that they wore. Kasi it has nothing to do with that situation that they've been in. And bukod sa devalue nito or ini-invalidate yung suffering ng victims ng victim blaming is that parang ini-enable niya pa yung rape. So, again, super devaluing nito sa women who's experienced so much and will go through so much more for the rest of their lives. And kung tutusin nga, is kulang pa yung jail time kumpara dun sa emotional, physical, and mental traumas na kinokos ng rape sa victims. And kapag pinut pa natin yung blame sa kanila, how cruel can that be? Besides, women wearing any type of clothes should not be credited for the male gaze. Hindi lahat is tungkol sa kalalakihan. So stop acting that once nakakita ka ng someone who reveals their skin does not necessarily mean that it is for you, nor the world revolves around you. We should be able to wear the clothes that we are comfortable and confident in without anyone ever sexualizing or objectifying us. And to think na tatanggalin pa sa atin yung rights to wear the clothes that we want is quite unfair kasi why not teach the young men not to rape anyone and not put everything do not put the weight of everything on women. Thank you.
Ako po si J. Cyril V. Arquiza. I'm 16 years old po.
Regarding rape issue, women are blamed because of the type of clothes they wear. What is your opinion about this matter and what solution do you have in mind to address this issue?
There's this growing stigma against women in our society because throughout history, women were thought of as lower than men, and I think that contributed into providing reasons on why the victims are blamed instead of the actual perpetrators when it comes to rape. What I can say about this problem is we need to hold accountable the persons that actually induce in sexual harassment, not the victims. We need to create protocols and addressing these issues so that more people are aware of what they can do.
The problem when it comes to rape issues do not actually lie with what women chooses to wear, as both interviewers pointed out, but rather in the wrong perspective or mindset of rapists regarding women and clothing. As Mr. Jace put it, there's this stigma against women in our society because throughout history, women are thought of as lower than men, which is actually very true because superior-inferior relationship is a major long-term issue that we still strive to address up to this day. And due to this unbalanced treatment between both sexes, women are blamed whenever there is sexual harassment because they are not as valued or at the same level as men. There's this idea in our society that when women wear revealing clothes, they are then asking or suggesting for laxity, when in fact, if we are going to look at the bigger picture, men have the freedom to wear any type of clothes that they want as long as they are confident with it. In addition, as Ms. Norba stated, victim blaming is unjustifiable, which is very factual because victim blaming had been observed to only intensify this matter, since it creates a sense of fear among women or victims that hinders them to report abuse and seek help in recovering from a very traumatic experience. In conclusion, victim blaming is only a manipulative tactic. As both interviews noted, rape is not because the victim asked for it, but because the perpetrator chooses to act upon his lustful urge. Thus, there is no one to blame but the rapist. With all this being said, it would be best if we will educate the young generations and if the government will provide ample support in addressing this matter so people will be open minded and sensitive about the existence of both sexes.
I am Jonathan Antonio Aero Perez from grade 12 STEM AHJ. I am 17 years old.
So, Jans, many people say that poor people are poor because of their mentality. What can you say about it? And ma-agree ka ba dun o hindi?
I kind of agree with you in a sense kasi parang nasa mentality na siya ng tao kung gusto ba niya talagang yumaman or humirap. Kagaya nga nung nakinig ko, hindi tayo parang pag pinanganak kang mahirap, magiging ka na ring mamamatay kang mahirap, kumbaga. Nasa mentality ng tao, which is bad or sad in a way kasi parang pinapakita nito na parang napapaikot lang tayo dun sa mentality na yun. Parang dun lang tayo umiikot, hindi tayo naghahanap ng improvement or goals or potential para mapa-improve pa yung sarili natin para makaalis tayo sa social class na yun, social status na yun. Tapos, para ring masasabi rin din na napapakita rin din, kagaya rin nga sa statistics na rin, na mas maraming tao, karamihan, hindi educated or poorly educated sila sa kanilang buhay, kaya nagiging silang mahirap, kumbaga. Yun lang naman.
Hello, my name is Teresa Arcalo and I am 17 years old.
Many say that poor people are poor because of their mentality. What can you say about it? Uma-agree ka ba dun or hindi?
Dun sa sinabi mo, agree ako dun kasi meron naman talagang mga tao na pinanganak na mahirap tapos meron namang pinanganak ng yaman. And dun sa mahirap, may ibang tao na gusto nilang makaahon sa hirap and yung iba naman, wala silang spirit or ayaw talaga nila umahon sa hirap, which is yung mindset nila naka-fix na sa pagiging mahirap. And parang yun yung nagpupul sa kanila para maging mahirap talaga. And yung mentality nila. Yung iba naman, kaya sila nakakaahon sa hirap kasi yung mindset nila is gusto nila yumaman or gusto nila makaahon sa hirap. So yun, yung iba naman, gusto talaga nila maging mahirap or ayaw na talaga nila doon or tamad sila. And yun nga, yung mentality talaga nila, yung parang factor kung bakit nagiging mahirap lang sila ng mahirap. And yun ba?
Poor people are poor because of their mentality. We usually hear this statement when someone is justifying why poor people are poor, why they remain poor. Well, in fact, people did not choose to be born poor, but they did choose to remain poor and underprivileged. Considering that they have a lifetime chance to change their life status, to become rich, and afford to what they want. But they just keep on wasting those chances because of their poor mentality, which hinders them to take the risk. They are full of fear to lose everything because they believe that they can't, that they will fail, that they don't have a chance to elevate their status in life. Actually, it is true that having a poverty mentality leaves you focusing on all the things you don't have, when in reality you probably already have everything you need. People just keep on missing the opportunities, losing hope and a will to strive for success because of this sick mentality. They are just waiting for a life-changing miracle to happen to them and save them from that situation. We all know that it's unlikely to happen to every single poor people. What they really need is a guidance, people who will educate them on how to survive life situations, a society which will encourage them and give them an optimistic mindset, and a government who will address their concerns and support them to uplift their lives. With all that, we should still not judge and blame those people because they are raised in a society where they start to believe that it's impossible for them to overcome poverty. So instead of judging them, we need to help them and fight that poor mentality.
Hi, I am Luisa Claristi Pabraya. I am 18 years old.
Indigenous people have their own cultures. Others do not understand, but some people make fun of them. What are the experiences that you encounter that is similar to the situation? What is your opinion about discriminating or making fun of indigenous people nowadays? And what are the possible solutions that you can suggest to address this problem?
So, first muna ay sa sarili ko muna experience. Ako ay nakakaranas ng discrimination dahil sa aking skin type kasi ako ay maitim. And personally ay syempre at first kapag kasi paulit-ulit kang niloloko tungkol doon. Paulit-ulit din na kumbaga ay nadadagdagan yung parang burden kasi masakit siya eh. Masakit siya talaga kasi doon papasok yung kapag niloloko ka kasi doon papasok yung tanong na bakit ganito yung type of color na binigay sa akin and madami pa. So connecting naman doon sa indigenous people is hindi ko maintindihan kung bakit mayroong mga tao ginagawang katatawanan yung ganitong yung kultura na meron sila. Tayo ay isang we are part of society and kumbaga tayo ay isang diversity yung uniqueness nga ng bawat isa yung nakakapag-diverse sa isang society. Kumbaga ay yun, bakit nagagawa nga ng iba na pagtawanan yun ay wala naman yung dulot sa pagkatao nila. Kumbaga pinalalala lang nila yung sitwasyon. And yung aking opinion naman about this is kumbaga ay try to research, try to embrace kung ano yung meron sila kasi they are also embracing kung ano yung culture na meron tayo kasi for them, kakaiba din tayo sa kanila. Kasi we grow sa magkaibang culture kaya kung nagagawa nilang irespeto yung culture na meron tayo, dapat tayo din personally, tayo ay nare-respeto din natin yung culture na meron sila at ina-embrace din natin yun. Kasi sila ay part din ng ating society. Kailangan din natin sila. Kailangan natin sila kasi we need them.
Hello, my name is Rondi B. De Los Angeles, 17 years old.
Indigenous people have their own cultures. Others do not understand, but some people make fun of them. So, what are the experiences that you encounter that is similar to the situation? What is your opinion about discriminating or making fun of indigenous people nowadays? And what are the possible solutions that you can suggest to address this problem?
So, thank you sa tanong. So, regarding this question, tayo nga ay naniniraan tayo sa mundo ng mga differences, world of differences at discrepancy. So, yung mundo natin is full of differences. May mga taong member ng isang indigenous tribe or naniniwala sa isang culture or tradition at yung mga tao na hindi member. So, yung mga taong hindi member ng indigenous tribe, may tendency sila na i-ridicule or i-mock yung mga member ng indigenous tribe dahil sa kanilang mga ginagawang mga culture or tradition. Usually, yung katulad ng example nun is yung sa mga badyaw. Di ba, pag nasakay kayo sa jeep, may mga akit na mga badyaw, magbibigay sila ng parang mga sobre. Ngayon, yung mga tendency ng mga tao is magtape, magtago ng wallet nila at saka yakapin yung cellphone. So, parang nandidiri sila dahil iba sila ng pinagmulan or iba sila ng paniniwalaan. So, ang ko dun is, ba't ganun yung mga tao na ngayon? Hindi porket hindi ka pala member ka ng isang indigenous tribe, ay dapat pandirian ka na. Hindi ba pwedeng may certain circumstances lang sila kaya sila meron certain traditional culture? At isa pang halimbawa nito, yung mga Ifugao, di ba yung mga Ifugao, sumasayaw silang mga nakabahag. So yung mga tao nakakakita na minsan pinagtatawanan sila or kaya ini-imitate sila for a comedic way or para pagkatawanan.
So nakakawalang respeto yun. So sabi nga sa intersubjectivity natin na tinuro ni Ma'am Saki, dapat matuto tayong maki-empathize sa iba. We need to put ourselves in someone else's shoes para malaman natin kung bakit may ganun bang nangyayari sa kanila, kung bakit ginagawa nila yung culture or tradition na yun. Dapat marunong na tayong intindihin yung sitwasyon nila. We must put ourselves in other people's situation. So yun lang. Maraming salamat.
In the present time, many people experience being bullied and disrespected just because they don't have knowledge about others' culture, tradition, and beliefs. Based on the article of Amnesty International, 15% of indigenous people experience discrimination. That's why they just started to stay away on other people that not belong to their tribal groups. This lead to poverty in their community because they don't want to try to socialize to the urban communities for them to work or go to school. Because of the ignorance of other people, indigenous people become unprivileged to live whatever life they wanted because of this barrier, which is discrimination. Based on my interviewees, I scrutinized that there is nothing wrong on being different. It is just the people that is being cruel about the uniqueness of others because they don't have knowledge about indigenous tribes and that ignorance make them fool. If we think that they are different because they don't have the same beliefs and culture as what we have, we must also understand that we also have a different culture on their point of view, or we are also different on their eye. But they are just respecting us and not making fun of us because they understand us. And that respect, understanding, and knowledge is what we are lacking of. As a society, we must accept each other with respect, because we are in the same planet and we are a diversity. As a person, we must understand that the uniqueness or differences of each other, whether you are belong to the indigenous tribes or not, these differences makes this world balance. We must embrace and accept each other because the world is so boring if all the things or people are just similar. Always remember, it is not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences.
Good afternoon, I'm Steven Catalia and I'm 17 years old to answer this interview on philosophy. So, anong tanong?
So here is the question for you. Nowadays, some people think that psychological problems are just excuses people do to justify their weaknesses. What can you say about the societal problem and what solutions can you refer to this issue?
I think there's a lot of people na meron talagang gumagamit sa psychological health issues para to make excuses and to justify their problems. But there's actually people na meron talaga o nakakaranas talaga ng genuine psychological health problem. Pero we are not the person who are to decide kung meron ba talaga silang issue or health problem kasi nga it's hard to detect. It's very invisible. Para bang depende kasi sa behavior and emotion ng tao and kailangan mo ng matinding observational skill or ability to know if someone is actually suffering from any psychological problem. And as a solution to this, I think education is very important para malaman talaga natin if someone is actually pretending or someone who is actually experiencing a psychological issue. And education helps us have an understanding, and this understanding will help us and it will lead us to embracing something that to embrace someone who has actually a psychological problem. And if there's education, mas madali nating malalaman if someone is actually pretending or not. So that is my opinion.
I'm Kyla May M. Cruz, 18 years old. So let's proceed to the question. Okay. So nowadays, some people think that psychological problems are just excuses people do to justify their weaknesses. So what can you say about that societal problem and what solution can you refer to that issue?
So, since pandemic, most of the people is talagang naapektuhan yung psychological mind. Tapos doon ko rin napansin na na-develop din natin sa pandemic yung psychological problems. Kung saan alam naman talaga natin na talaga namang nakaka-drain siya physically, emotionally, and
mentally. So, napansin ko na recently na may mga tao na, for example, is nag-stall sila. So, ito naman is napansin ko during pandemic, no? Na nung time ng pandemic, mayroong mga situation kung saan may nangyayaring pagnanakaw, kung saan ang dinadahilan nila ay kasi depressed ako. Hindi ako stable mentally. Wherein, kumbaga parang nagiging ang baba na nung meaning ng psychological problems dahil nga sa kadalasan siya na yung ginagamit na pang justify natin sa wrongdoings natin. Kung saan yung, for me, yung wrongdoings is a result ng weaknesses. So, ayun, feel ko kasi hindi ko siya magagamit. Hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung psychological problems para mag-justify tayo ng mga mali nating ginawa. So, gaya na nga example nun na nagnakaw, kung saan pwede tayo mag-isip na, ay okay tayo. Kahit hindi tayo mentally stable, physically stable, psychologically stable, pwede nating isipin, ay we're okay, we can be okay, we can think na we're okay. So, ayun, pinaka to simplifies the answer is that, for me, hindi talaga natin pwedeng i-justify ang wrongdoings natin or weaknesses natin dahil lang meron tayong psychological problems na nararanasan.
I agree with the interviewer's opinions and suggestions because the societal problem of people believing that psychological problems are just excuses people do to justify their weaknesses stems from a lack of awareness of the people. Since there is a wide range of psychological problems that have been rapidly developed. As according to Ms. Cruz, COVID-19 pandemic has triggered or amplified serious mental health problems. Many people have expressed psychological suffering as well as signs of post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, or depression. This lead others to take advantage of their own weaknesses to commit wrongdoings and make excuses that they do such things because they have psychological issues. And we should not tolerate aforesaid behavior because even if a person is ill, he or she should not use their weaknesses to do things they knew were wrong. Furthermore, based on the opinion of Mr. Catalia, these problems are challenging to identify because it is practically invisible since it affects the mind rather than the body. Because of this, it might be difficult to tell if someone is pretending or not. And as he stated that we are not in the position to say whether they are or not having or experiencing psychological issues, which is true because we don't know how heavy their burden is. So we can just say that a person is pretending to have condition since some people who are struggling psychologically can be seen happy despite their illnesses and some individuals are completely unaware that they have this condition. By making individuals educated and raising awareness that this issue is real and not just an excuse, we won't just understand the sufferings that they experience, but we can embrace their conditions and help them cope with their psychological problems.
It is not yet too late for us to make this world a better place to live. We can still do something as a member of the society to suppress this long-term issue and ensure that every one of us, no matter who we are and where we come from, can participate fully and actively as equal members of the society. As Mark Danger puts it, there is a story behind every person. There is a reason why they are the way they are. Think about that and respect who they are. Let's not forget that we are going through different battles in life and there are so many reasons why we are the way we are. We shouldn't be judging, disrespecting, and treating people inferiorly because we can only see a part of the picture, not the whole frame. Let's always put ourselves in the shoes of others and be sensitive of each other's existence so we can learn from our differences and have a wider and a better perspective.